Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another stream. Today we're going to talk about the EV electric car tax credit and how do you actually qualify for the tax credit. I thought of this video because there was I had a call a couple weeks ago and in which the person didn't really understand the tax credit exactly with the electric vehicles. They kind of thought it was if you owe money at the end of the year type of situation when it's actually not. So we're going to go through how this tax credit actually works. How much do you really actually have to make as like a normal actual person to get the full $7,500 refund before any other types of deductions and stuff like that. So we'll go through that and like also like should you wait? Should you even wait for this tax credit? And like is the Tesla, the Model 3 and the Model Y, is it even going to qualify? But we'll go through all of it. I'll show you exactly how much you need to make to get the full $7,500 if you get a Tesla. I mean, there's other vehicles out there as well that get the full $7,500 tax credit like today, but you know, all we talk about is Tesla here, so that's what we are going to talk about. But welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today is going to be all about how to qualify for the EV tax credit or how to actually get it or like what's the stipulations on that. So welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla buying and selling. I call it Tesla hacking, or I like to call it. How to get the best deal, how to sell at a good rate, and also how to get good financing as well on a brand new Tesla. I've had 3 Teslas so far, a Model 3, a Model Y, and a Model S, but I do not have a single Tesla right now. I've actually been banned. I've made a video about that, so if you're interested in watching that, you can definitely catch that. But welcome back to another video, and hit that like if you're enjoying my videos so far, and let's just get into it. But before we get into it, let's roll the intro. All right, so let's just go ahead and share the screen. So here's a good article that I used to refer to a lot. It's from NPR, and it talks about the new tax credit for next year and how it breaks it down because most people don't actually realize it's broken into 2 parts. It's divided by 2, so 7,500 divided by 2 is 3,750 and 3,750. There's also an added $4,000 used tax credit for, of course, used cars, but there's a lot more rules on that, and we're not going to get into that because I don't really think it's worth it, and that's just going to really inflate the used car market, especially like the older Nissan Leafs and the i3s or BMW i3s, which are in that price cap. So we're not even going to talk about that, but this is a good article because it talks about how there's actually 2 parts of the EV tax credit. The first part is the battery components. It has to be made in North America or manufactured and assembled, and also the critical battery minerals. This was one of those early articles that came out that would put it really pretty clearly, but then I've recently found this article from Edmunds that really breaks it down into a much simplified way of understanding it. So I'll put this link in the description, but you can see right here, the first 3,750 is critical battery minerals have to be sourced or made from the US, and then battery components, kind of that same thing. And of course, these minerals can't come from these blacklisted countries like China, Russia, and some other places, or the vehicle will not qualify. And if how I understand it, this is all kind of like self-reported from the OEMs. So that's why Elon said yesterday, well, that's not why, but Elon said yesterday that they have every intention to make their Model 3 and Model Y qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act. So this is going to be pretty interesting because there's 2 parts. So the first, besides the first 2 parts, for the SUVs, they must be under $80,000. So the Model Y definitely qualifies at its current price. The Model X, unfortunately, doesn't. That would be super sick if they reduced that price from the Model X down to $80,000. And I think that's possible. I mean, let's see, because I'm curious. What is the cheapest Model X? What has it ever been? And it looks like $81,000 for a Model X 75D in 2019. In May of 2019, it was $81,000. So that would be super. Can you imagine if Tesla came out with a standard range Model X that could only go 200 miles or 250 miles at $80,000? That would sell like hotcakes. That would probably destroy. I mean, BMW has the iX right now, which is in that $80,000 price point, but I don't think it has a range. But I mean, if you think about it, that could be actually a crazy strategy. And I can bet Tesla they're thinking about that. They're definitely thinking about it. They don't need it right now, but you can see right here, the iX50, which is their base even BMW SUV starts at $84,000. So BMW could try and play some games here and reduce it down to under 80K, but they have to also make sure the battery minerals and the manufacturing are on the United States as well. So, but we're kind of going off on a tangent there. I just thought of that. But the sedan, the Model 3, should certainly make it under 55K. They should be able to squeeze that under, then get that under 55K for the long range and maybe the standard range. From what I've read, the standard range, the battery minerals do not come from the United States, so we definitely won't be qualifying there. The other part of it is the income. So if you're married, you can't make more than $300,000 combined, and if you're individual as a person, you cannot make more than $150,000. And this is where we get into that tax refund part of it. So the most common misconception is that you only get the tax refund if you owe that certain amount at the end of the year, which it's not the case. So most people, when they file for the taxes, they either get a refund from like $1,000 to a couple thousand at the end of the year back. And that's because they've had a more aggressive withholding throughout the year to have withholding from their paycheck. Most people don't know that you actually get the tax credit because everybody that makes money pays some sort of federal tax. And so you're kind of contributing to that bucket, so to speak. And most people, after you make about like that 60K threshold, you're going to get that money dollar for dollar back. And so here is a federal income tax calculator estimator. So if you guys want to put your zip code in the chat, I'll go ahead and put in your zip code down there. We can just run through scenarios and see. But we'll first go through like a California one, because I think California is probably one of the more, well, it doesn't even matter because this is federal taxes. So you could be anywhere in the country and it's going to be exactly the same. So we don't even put your zip codes in there. Actually, it doesn't actually make sense. But let's just put in a California one just to see. And so we'll just do what, like, okay, you honestly should not be buying a Model 3 or a Model Y unless you make dollar for dollar. You should be buying like you should make 1.5 more than the income. I mean, that's not, financial advice and by any means. If you listen to Dave Ramsey, you should be making like 10x the income. But let's say you make the exact price of a Model 3 long range right now, which is like $57,990. So let's just buffer that up to like $60,000. And if you're single and all that stuff, this is where you need to look at. So right here, federal tax, you're paying $6,100, so $6,200. So you would get that back dollar for dollar if the Tesla Model 3 qualifies for that full $7,500 tax credit. Most likely it's not. It's only going to qualify for $3,750. So let's try and figure out what is kind of that threshold where you would get a dollar for dollar back. So let's put in $75,000 just to see, and that jumps it up to a $9,500 tax liability that you're paying through every paycheck at the end of the year. So it looks like you would have to really be about like maybe $67,000. So maybe even $65,000 to get, okay, so right around like $66,000 is where you would pay exactly $7,500 in tax, where if you bought an EV, you would basically negate out your entire year's federal tax liability. And that was actually a strategy that some people did in the past year, where they would just keep buying EV on EV on EV, because there's nothing in the rules that say you can't stack and that you have to keep the car. So you could just keep buying the same car over and over and over and just reselling it to kind of pay zero income taxes completely. But of course, not financial advice. Consult your accountant or tax advisor or something like that. But let's say, most likely, we don't know, but going off of what Elon said yesterday, the Model Y and the Model 3 might only qualify. He's going to have it qualify for the Inflation Reduction Act for the Model 3 and the Model Y. But the industry rumor is that it would only qualify for half of it. So really, you only have to make well, let's see how much you have to make to qualify for 3750 back, and it's pretty low. So okay, so if you make $45,000 in income in a year, if your federal tax liability is $3,700, which if you're making $45,000, you really shouldn't be buying a Model 3 at $50,000 because that's already a pretty hefty car payment. So it's not really a good move. But if you are interested in other vehicles out there like the Nissan Leaf, the Bolt, both of those vehicles should qualify maybe, then it might be a better scenario for you. But this is a tax liability refund that you get back at the end of the year when you file for your taxes. So the other thing is that this is just for year 2023 when the sales caps are all lifted for Tesla and Chevy and all the other manufacturers that have sold over 200,000. I think it's only those two actually. And so once we get into 2024, the rebate or the discount, the $7,500 discount, if these vehicles qualify, will be taken at point of sale, which basically means line for line discount. You will get a $3,750 discount or a $7,500 discount when you go buy the vehicle, whether it's through Tesla directly or at the dealership directly. So that's going to be super interesting, because if a Model 3 at that time or a Model Y, let's take the Model Y, if the Model Y long range is $66,000 at that time or on that date, and you get a let's just give it all the credibility or give it all the luck, and it gets a full $7,500 line for line discount. Think about what that's going to do to the market. People are going to be driving off the lot with on $59,000 brand new Tesla Model Ys. That means 1 year older ones are going to definitely take a decrease. So there's a lot of interesting things that are going to play into the market dynamics for Tesla in the next year. Of course, if Tesla gets the discount or Tesla gets the full credit, that's also going to surge in demand as well. But my speculation is that Tesla is going to bring back the Model Y standard range because it's a $50K price point as it is currently in Europe and in China. They're going to bring that to the US. They're going to try some way to incorporate that with the tax rate. So that's going to be super interesting as well. But let's get into some questions really quick. Tech Unboxing, welcome back. Hi, good vibes. My typing got a lot better. Well, congrats. Della Antoinette, I wish I could get this credit, but I don't think the 2020 parts are all made exactly. So that's why industry rumors think that it's only going to be half of it, $3,750. So if you have a lower price now and you are if you have an order in the queue and you're confirmed going to get it 2023, it might not even be worth trying to get that tax credit next year. You might as well just try and take it, run, drive a car because you're going to need it, and just move on and stuff like that. But definitely super interesting stuff. I'll post this link to this article about the tax credit and how it actually works. It's basically just a tax liability refund. So we all contribute, or most of us pay federal taxes through every paycheck and throughout the year. And at the end, you can line for line get that money back. If you're self-employed, this just offsets your tax liability as well. There's only so much you should or could write off. So this will help with that. So you can kind of show more income, whether it's you can show income from real estate or whatever, things like that to get more approval and stuff like that. But thanks for watching this quick video on the how to qualify for the tax credit and how it actually works. I know there's a lot of misconception. I hear it almost every day with my calls, and people ask me how the tax credit works. I wanted to make this video on it. If you have any questions, you can comment down below in the description, or actually, oh, I forgot to plug my Calendly link. This video is actually sponsored by my Calendly link. If you have any questions on buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla and how to get the good rate, the best rate, you can actually schedule a one-on-one call with me. It's a 15-minute call, and you also get a link to my buying guide that has all the links and resources that I use to get the best deal. And right now, I have a credit union that can get 2.99% for 60 months and 3.5 for 72 months as well. So definitely some really good stuff. But yeah, thanks for being here, watching the streams, hitting the like and subscribe definitely goes a long way. So, I definitely appreciate it. But thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.